morning, everyone, and welcome to the Investor's Source, your source of all wealth and wisdom. We are delighted to have with us today two special guests, the Chavez brothers from down in southern Colorado, JR and Lorenzo Chavez, two of the big time multifamily investors in the southern Colorado area. They are kicking it down there, doing a really good job and accumulating multifamily properties like most of us accumulate shirts or our wardrobe. So just doing a great job. We've been working with JR and Lorenzo for a couple of years now, have done a good number of deals together. And I think one interesting thing about them is they have not been doing this all that long, but in the short time that they have, and I'll let them speak to that, they have accumulated many properties, many more than you might think for the time that they've been doing it. So really successful down there, well known. And it's great to have them today. We're going to continue our discussion about multifamily investing and their experience. And now I'm going to shut up and ask JR and Lorenzo to tell us a little bit about yourselves, your investing background, particularly in multifamily. JR, you want to start?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. I just turned 40 years old, but I started real estate when I was luckily enough, I was 21 years old. So it's been going on like 18 years around that time. I haven't been doing it a long time as far as the multi-unit game, but what I learned from when I started real estate, even from the great crash in '08 and all that, got to experience that. You have to take things as some losses. You have to take as a learning experience too. So, but other than that, yeah, I've been doing real estate since I was 22 years old, and lucky enough, we'll get into that later. Lucky enough, mentors really changed the game for me, and that's where we kind of got into the multi-unit game and all that. So, but yeah, I love real estate and excited to be on this.
Cool. Excited to have you. And Lorenzo, you don't have quite as many years in as your brother, but catching up to him.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I've been an agent for about 5 years, and I've been investing personally for probably about 3 years now. And I focus on multifamily because that's what I was taught. That's what my older brother was doing. That's what I hopped in, and he explained to me how many benefits there were to multifamily versus single family residential, and I didn't doubt him. So we've just been looking for those multifamilies to keep us safe during kind of stormy weather, you could say. But yeah, we love it. We love working with tenants, and it's a game that's unlike any other.
That's for sure. Would you say you know, I would say a lot of people would find it challenging to work with family or their brother. How has that worked out for you guys?
Well, it's not always peaches and cream, but I would say that out of out of the 7 billion people in the world, there's only a couple people that I trust with my life, and Jared would be one of those people. So yeah, there's some challenges. There's some disagreements at times, but there's always a common goal, and there's always that shared respect and love for each other that always gets us through.
Yeah, a partnership that can work can be really, really helpful where you got two heads instead of one working on problems and just handling whatever is needed. JR, any comments on working with your brother?
No, it's been a great, cool experience, and being the older brother, like when he first started off and wanted to get into real estate, I feel like I was real hard on him, like kind of like how my dad was on me, and I wanted the best for him. I mean, if I didn't care, we wouldn't have those issues or me, on him as far as like, we got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. But the coolest part of all is over time, we're not the smartest guys in the room, you know. So once you start learning this business, you kind of just take off jogging and then start running. And, you know, so it's cool to see him grow over the years and learn from me and my hardships and going through bankruptcy and going through the crash in '08 and all that. And so it's cool to see them grow. And then for a minute there, you know, now I'm learning from him, you know. And so like he's not calling and asking questions all the time and all that. He can figure it out. He's got mentors, he's got people he can call to. And so like once you create a monster and it's addicting, you know. And so I'm proud of him. It makes me happy to see him do his thing and all that. I don't really have to worry about him right now because, you know, he's just on the grind, you know. So it's cool. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Cool. Yeah, I've worked with my brother too, and like you said, it's not all peaches and cream, but the end of the day, it's fun working with someone that you have a good relationship with, and you can get that much more done. So must be very satisfying for both of you to see your brother be successful and learn from him, and also be able to teach him as well. Well, let's get into like Pueblo. A lot of people would say, "Why the heck are you investing in Pueblo?" Others would say it's one of the best and most up and coming areas in all of Colorado. Why don't you tell us a little bit? Why did you choose that area? What are you finding about it? What do you like and what don't you like about investing down in that area?
It's the green chili, man.
That's right.
Go for it, Lorenzo, if you want to elaborate.
Well, Pueblo's been very good to us just because of the fact that there's a lower bar of entry for investing in general. All of the investments that we're looking at are much more affordable in our price range. We can get an easier down payment. So that really helped us get off to a good start, where a lot of other people in larger markets probably never get off the ground because the entry level is so much higher. So just investing in Pueblo in general has helped us accumulate more properties at a faster rate, and now we're going to be expanding into more of Colorado because of that. So Pueblo's been good to us.
Yeah,
Go ahead, JR. Yeah, take it from there.
he pretty much summed it up, you know, as far as like when I first started off, geez, man, you could find houses for like $13,000 over on the east side, you know. Now that's doesn't happen. But when I first started off, it was affordable market, you know. And so like being able to tap into some of these opportunities was easier for me than in like Springs or Denver, where, you know, some of these investors had money, they had backup, they have a capital, you know. And like when you're first starting off with scratch, that's hard to compete against. And so here in Pueblo, like, you know, the fishbowl is only so big and all that. So yeah, it definitely helped getting our foot, you know, in as far as instead of competing with like the big sharks. So Pueblo's an awesome market to get started, and really excited that we started here. And like you said, now we're branching out, you know, and now that we've gotten bigger and all that. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting times.
And how are you finding the competition? Is it getting more? Are there more investors down there now than when you
Yeah.
started? And is that affecting your business?
Yeah, you know, when I first started real estate 22 years ago, I had to use MapQuest, you know, like to go and find the properties. And man, it was a little old school then. But yeah, it's a great market. And like with social media, you're starting to notice like there's a lot more people in real estate, you know. Because again, to me, it's you just, you know, it's not that hard to figure out if you have the hustle and you have the drive and the tenacity. That's where real estate starts becoming fun. But yeah, now that social media has come around, I've definitely noticed that a lot more people are in real estate agents, investors, big time. Yeah, so it's a whole nother world. Again, that's why I'm glad it started when I was, you know, younger and all that, because the competition wasn't as hot. But who doesn't love real estate? Everybody loves real estate. Everyone wants to get into real estate. They always have questions. They're online looking at homes, like people that aren't even like they have a job and they're just looking at houses, you know. And everybody loves real estate. So yeah, it's cool to like be in it and have our foot in the ground.
That's great. Kind of you guys investing in Pueblo kind of reminds me of my older days in investing. I started off in Greeley, similar
Yeah.
type of town, and up here in northern Colorado, the biggest where most people went was Loveland and Fort Collins, and I looked in those areas too, but it was super competitive, and I had a lot more success finding good properties in Greeley, and those have worked out really well. I've said a number of times in the articles I've written, I still have those properties from when I bought them 13 years ago. Single family properties, not like you guys, but those have worked out really well. So finding those
Yeah.
niche markets, I think, can be really powerful, actually.
Plus, that's a good community, with the college and all that. So I'm sure you've been successful, with those single family homes.
Very much so. And I actually stayed away from the college market and found other niches within the community that were not gearing towards college
So
students.
yeah,
But that's a whole nother
interesting,
conversation.
interesting, cool.
And then I'm glad you brought up the point about everybody loves real estate, because people do, and everybody watches the flip shows. And I think most people would like to get involved, but not everybody does. And not everybody finds success. Can you guys talk about what the keys were, what the keys have been for your success? Why do you think you've made it when others have found it more challenging to, like you say, get the foot in the door and get started? What do you think it takes to be successful in this business based on your experience?
Jer, I'll start this one off. I fully believe that consistency is key in most things that we do. It's a copycat industry, and especially like Jared was saying, in today's social media atmosphere, everybody wants the hot new thing, or they get rich quick, immediate results, short attention spans, and that's not real estate at all. Real estate is a very long game that you play, and I think if people don't see immediate results, or maybe they might make as much money on their first deal, or maybe even lose a little bit of money on their first deal, they just kind of give up completely. Where we're just consistent and dedicated, and I think what separates us most from a lot of gurus or other folks that are less successful is we keep the human element involved. We remember that these are people that we're dealing with at all times. They're other human beings that are either selling their properties to us, or that are tenants, or anything in that. So we really cherish our relationships that we build, and that's proven very, very fruitful. And on top of, like I said, the consistency, I think being in the industry, the longer you are and the more consistent you are, the more eyes become aware of what you're doing, really, and what you're accomplishing. So definitely those are some keys.
Very true. And hanging in there. And I'm glad you bring up the humanity element of investing, because people tend to overlook that. JR, maybe you could continue that conversation and gear it towards success and keys in multifamily investing.
Like as far as like getting into it and stuff.
Yeah, getting into it, getting that foot in the door. Like most of us, even, day-to-day investors never get into multifamily, and many become scared of it. Maybe that's the thing, getting through your fear.
That's a big thing.
What do you think?
A big thing is a fear, and being scared, which it's okay. Those are actually good feelings. If you're thinking about doing something and it's scaring you, that's a good sign, in my opinion. Obviously, you got to manage your risk and all that, but when you first got into real estate, like you would hear like people talking about buying homes with no money down and this and that, and those, you try to figure out like how are they doing that, and when we were raised, a lot of us, when we were raised, it was bad to talk about money at the dinner table, and when you're asking about money or this or that, it's just taboo to even talk about it, I guess, and so like who we learn money from is our family and all that. So it's nice being able to have mentors and learning different worlds to where it's not bad, or taboo thing to borrow money, and that's a big part of the game, and so yeah, one of my first deals I bought on the east side of Pueblo. It was $13,500, and I didn't have the money for it. I borrowed the money from a friend, and it was an awesome experience. Yeah, so I borrowed the money to buy the house from a friend, and then I borrowed the money.
We
Sorry
lost your
about
sound.
Speaking
There you go.
Yeah.
speaking towards multifamily in specific and the success that involves. Um, I, my brother explained to me when I was first getting in that that when you deal with a single family home, it's either rented or it's not rented, and it's either fully bringing in that cash flow or it's either completely draining your cash flow, and it's just a one or a zero at that point. But let's say you buy a fourplex and you have one vacancy, well, now you're only at 75%. So basically, the more units you're able to accumulate and the more units you're able to accumulate under one building, um, the safer I feel my investment is, because there's less risk of me really going underwater, because I always have different lifeboats, you could say, keeping it afloat. And obviously, you always want maximum occupancy, but in a real life situation, that's not always the case. So it's always helped that no matter what, there's income coming in to at least pay the debts, and then when you're at max occupancy, that's when you're really starting to see these higher cash flows and returns on your investment.
Great. Yeah, definitely one of the big advantages of multifamily is when you do have turnover, you always have other units kind of compensating for the ones that you've lost. So that can be a really good thing. Maybe you can each tell us about the best multifamily deal you've done. Maybe it's a deal together. I know you guys invest individually as well, but do any deals stand out, and what made those so successful, and what can our viewers learn from that?
I mean, I've been blessed enough to, it's hard for me to just pick one deal. We would be here for about an hour or two. And if I was to go over the stories and how I accumulated them and what happened and how this worked out. But, I'm big on laws of attraction. And I think if you're out there looking for properties, and we're always driving for money is what me and Lorenzo will say. So we're always, even if I'm just going to the gas station or the store or going to meet a client, I'm always looking at houses and properties, and if I see something in distress, I'll look it up. I'll find the owner. I'll mail them something. I'll find them on Facebook. I will look for them on Instagram. I'll type in their last name on Facebook, and then I'll start hitting up family members that are associated with them. And those are things that people don't do, I think, and when you're persistent like that, and believe it or not, someone will be like, hey, yeah, that's my uncle's house, or that's my grandpa's house, like, can I get his number? Yeah, let me ask him, and then boom. And then before you know it, this guy's like, I don't want it no more, and yeah, so like just laws of attraction are big for me, and finding deals, being visionary, seeing things that other people don't. I mean, I found a triplex a couple of years ago that I bought for 32,000, and there was commercial in the front, 2 units in the back, and I was just sitting there for a long time, and I ended up scooping it up, put money into it, like $50,000, and now it's appraising at 315. And I could go on and on about multiple deals, like that. And you'd be surprised how many times people get into real estate and they give up, they don't know what they're doing, slumlords in over their heads, but just talking to as many investor or people that I can in Pueblo, again, those laws of attraction, this guy that's not even in my age bracket, this investor, you build the oddest friendships. It's really cool. And so he calls me and he tells me, hey, I got this a friend that has a nineplex and he wants to sell it. And I end up going to meet this guy, and again, these are the laws of attraction and all that. So I end up going to meet this guy, and he's in over his head, older dude, doesn't not know what he's doing, so I bought a nineplex for 200 grand, and I mean, again, those are just stories that I could go on, and now that property is a little over $1 million. And you start doing that 10 times, 20 times, 25 times, then you start even yourself, you start seeing yourself going to other brackets and all that. And banks start treating you differently. You have some net worth behind you, and it's really, really cool. It is just like the game of Monopoly. It's nuts. But yeah, laws of attraction, mentors.
Yeah, great point about mentors. And what I get from you talking about law of attraction is just being, even if you have fears of talking with people and networking, you do it anyway. You keep doing it. You put it out there. Word gets around, and the universe kind of comes back and delivers something to you very unexpected sometimes. But that's because you initiated it with your energy.
Yeah, and I don't say you have to have your real estate license, but I mean, it's been a huge plug for us, because when properties go on the market, we're the first ones to see it. Again, laws of attraction, people are always calling us like, hey, can you sell this property? My family wants to get rid of it. Well, maybe we're interested in it, and then if not, then we could roll it onto a listing and still get commission that way, pump that commission into our units, where some investors, like, oh, I'm not interested in that property. And that's it. Game's over. They call an agent, and so we kind of have that full circle where we can kind of keep everything in-house and not lose business because we don't really serve that niche. So we try to hit all the niches in real estate, and we'll funnel these properties through us. And if we like something, we keep it. If we don't, we'll kick it to a family member or a friend or investor, or throw it on the market, but we're not going to let money fall in through the cracks, that, because it is a shark world out there in real estate. And it happens to me even today, pick up your phone, boom, they'll call someone else. You just lost that on 5, 10, 15 grand. So you got to be ready. You got to stay on your feet.
Definitely. Let's talk about the market a little bit as we come towards concluding this. Multifamily has been recommended by the real estate gurus for a long time now, and things may be changing in that regard. I think there are some headwinds facing multifamily investors, particularly rising interest rates, which are making money more expensive, particularly those who have adjustable rate loans that are starting to adjust, and now they're paying double or more on their loans than they were before. This is causing some hardship, I know, for multifamily and all investors out there who have these types of loans. Are you guys seeing this yet in the market? Like, this could create opportunity that if those costs of money get too high, investors may have to sell their properties to get out because they may not be cash flowing enough. What are you seeing in the market as far as the effect of interest rates? Is it creating more opportunity for you? Is it making it too hard for you to purchase properties? What are you seeing in the market right now that we should know?
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of investors are sitting on the sidelines waiting for either rates to drop or prices to drop. So we have a couple multi-unit listings that maybe 9 to 12 months ago would have just flown off the shelf. And now they're sitting a whole lot longer. People are just waiting for that correct price point. But I'm a firm believer that if it gets to the market, with Jared's and my strategy, we like value add multi-units. So if it gets to the market, typically it's already too late for us. We found that the most success that we've had in investing properties has always been to direct contact. Like Jared was saying, driving for dollars, going out there, meeting these people one-on-one, introducing ourselves, not sending out a flyer that say we buy houses cash, but actually talking to these folks. Wow. And letting them know what we do. That's where we found the most success in our biggest spread in terms of equity gain and what you would call deals. I believe that the market has changed in a way that when I first started, wholesaling wasn't as cool as it is now, I guess you could say, and there wasn't as many wholesalers out there. But beforehand, wholesalers used to have a strategy where they would get a property under contract, they'd tack on another maybe $10,000 on top of the property, and they'd sell it, and they were just moving units. Where now it feels like wholesalers are trying to try to do too much math, and they're trying to sell it at just below or maybe just at an investor's price point, and so they're just really they're squeezing more equity out nowadays with wholesalers. So that's why we've been focusing more on the direct contact versus finding those off market deals that wholesalers are getting a hold of. So it's all about, I mean, JR's told me this I can't countless times, but it's all about what you buy something at. You make money at what you buy it at, and not at what you sell it at. So we're always just focused on getting the best deal, and then everything else seems to take care of itself after that. But
he kind of, sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, it's it is, properties are staying on the market longer. We have noticed longer days, average days on market, just because, yeah, you're right, money is more expensive. And there's a lot of, I guess you could say, there's a lot of hip words now. It's a copycat industry, and it feels like now everybody is they went to the dictionary, they learned what owner carry is, and that's the hot new thing, where because they see raising rates and things like that. But we've done well with hard money, and we continue to do well with it. So like I said, it's just on where you buy things at.
Yeah, I was going to add to that is, again, you make money where you buy things at, not what you sell them for. So we'll scoop up those deals that have a lot of equity position in them. And so whether we're in hard money or we're transitioning over to commercial banking, our loans are not taking all of our cash flow, just because we buy them at good prices. With interest rates being higher and scaring buyers, and just the generation of some don't want to buy and all that, we're not having a hard time renting out our rentals at all. Like, we have our own ways of marketing and getting these rentals rented. But no, I mean, we'll put a sign out in the front, and you got to be ready, because your voicemail is going to be full of people wanting to rent these properties. So no, I don't see any issues with as far as that, so that's going successful for us. And we have noticed that properties are sitting on the market longer. Of course, always the best time to buy real estate is yesterday. But yes, if some of these investors don't have money in the bank, if they can't pay for furnaces or water heaters, it's raining a lot, roof issues, if they can't pay for these things and they start having some hardships, most definitely, myself or Lorenzo will be there to hopefully, help them sell it or that, or maybe we could buy it from them at a discount price. They get out, save their credit, and whatnot. But hard money has been a saving grace for us. Some people don't like paying the fees, but OPM, if you get all that, it's going to set you onto another level, and working with Investor Source and being able to call Dave and building a relationship and you getting to the point where hey, I need this money for this deal, it needs to close fast, because this that, and so it's been it puts you at another level as an investor when you're wanting to be a player, and now when you have hard money and people like Investor Source behind you, I mean, now we can scoop up properties and we have some leverage, what I'm saying? So now we can play with the big boys a little bit when you have backup and whatnot. So
Right.
But yeah, I've also noticed, and that you touched on, every single bank that I'm working with on refinances, they're starting to have tighter requirements in terms of not just the cash flow, but like you said, they want cash reserves on hand in their bank. And the way it was described to me is just because it's so expensive to borrow money from the Fed that they need our money to be able to lend out, so they can stay profitable. So yes, there's been a dramatic shift in terms of how banks are lending money. Definitely.
Cool. Thank you for the shout out. I mean, thank you for the pitch for Investor Source. Much appreciated always. And I wanted to give a little shout out to Greg Osborne, another hard money lender that these guys work with, who does great work also, and referred. We work, both of us work with the Chavez brothers, and it's great to work with Greg, and he's a great lender as well. So, okay, cool, guys. Awesome chat today. I just want to give you a minute or so if you have any final thoughts, advice to budding multifamily investors? Should they continue on or sit back, or any final words of wisdom you'd like to convey? Starting, Lorenzo, go ahead.
Well, like JR said, the best time to buy real estate is yesterday, but the second best time is today. As long as you're buying good deals, and you're not getting too overly aggressive or over leveraged, I fully believe that multifamily investing is still very viable. JR and I are continuing to look for opportunities right now, and as the market shifts and changes, we're still continuing to be looking for opportunities. You can make money in any market. It's just how determined and how consistent you are is really going to set yourself apart from the pack.
Awesome. And JR.
Yeah, me and my friends, we have this saying, where it's you jump off the cliff and you build a plane on the way down. Real strong believer in that. Just go, don't be afraid. Go for your goals. Get that first multi-unit. There's always going to be someone like in a position where they want to mentor and give back. You got to find that right person that fits you, because that person might be on the grind and they don't have time to be a mentor, but keep knocking on doors, keep falling, and then you'll find a guy, you'll find somebody that'll take your calls, he sees himself in you, and wants to help and do good and this and that. And before you know it, you start making friends and becoming, you're networking and all that. And yes, you are who you vibe with and who you hang out with. But once you get that first multi-unit, I don't want to say it's all downhill, but you're going to learn from trial and error real fast. And I mean, I love real estate and the life that it's provided me. You got to work hard. We still lose sometimes, but there's more wins than losses. But it's changed my life, and I love real estate. And so if anyone that's wanting to get a multi-units, don't be afraid, and just dream big, dream big.
Absolutely. If you even find someone that I think a mentor is, definitely one of the huge factors to my success, to JR's success, and having somebody who's been down that road before. That's so invaluable. Even if you just to learn from them and work for free, just to see how their mind works and how they approach business and deals is it's life changing. So definitely find somebody who's been doing it and ask what it's going to take for them to teach you, and do what they say, and you'll see success.
Okay. Hey, thank you very much, gentlemen. Let me ask you as a final, just to kind of follow up on the thought of mentorship. If someone is down in, you're saying now you're going to be looking all around Colorado, but particularly if someone is down in your area and we put your contact information on the screen, if then maybe they're interested in partnering with you in a deal that they find, is that something you guys would be open to?
Always, yeah, 100%, yeah, and that'd be cool if we put our information out there, and they have questions, we could let them know the market and how it is down here in Pueblo and all that. Yeah, most definitely. Thank you.
Okay, no, happy to help, and appreciate the business we're doing together, and thank you guys, and I hope to be down there sometime soon again.
Yeah, you got to come check out that historical building.
That's right. I'm looking forward to it again, and hopefully we can get in this time.
Yeah, we will.
All right, gentlemen, have a great day, and thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Dave.